Welcome to a little segment that I had decided to call Fix and Finish, where I fix garments and I finish projects. For today, we're going to be finishing these purses, and I actually need to take all the charms off of this one. My hope with this series, or segment, or whatever you want to call it, is to not only, get through my mend pile, get through my unfinished project pile, not just to have smaller videos, but also to hopefully educate, and maybe if you have projects that are unfinished or clothes that need mending, maybe you can learn a little bit, as opposed to my regular crafting videos, which are more come along with me as I slowly lose my mind while trying to figure out how to become a room full of vampires or whatever. The first one we're going to work on is this purse, because not only does it need a lining, it also needs straps. And it's also a little bit more complicated than what we're going to be doing for that one. We're going to input a zipper in here, as well as a smaller pocket on the inside. So, what we're going to be doing is using this bag that already exists and is already in the shape that we need, and it was going to be donated, but now it's going to be sacrificed to the DIY gods. And the first thing I need to do is actually take this apart, so we're going to magic video transition. You don't have to sit through that. And we're done. And that took only about a little over one episode of Cells at Work. And also, tell me why the cancer cell episode was so scary. Next up is going to be some ironing, cutting all of this down to size, and then I'm going to jump into explaining how I'm going to put a zipper into this thing. So we're going to go back into voiceover and then into montage mode. Are you ready? Let's go. The first thing I needed to do was iron this fabric to get rid of as many of the creases as possible. Since I wasn't sure what this fabric was made from and I didn't feel like setting anything on fire, I started at a low setting and then went up until I got the results that I wanted. A general sewing tip is to always iron your project. Is it necessary? Maybe, probably. Will it make everything easier and look nicer? Unfortunately, the answer to that is in fact yes. The one crease I did leave in was at the top of the bag because I'm going to use that as a guide for where to pin the zipper later. I also did my best to remove all the dog hair because sure was a lot. The price I pay for having a lab mix, I guess. Once that was done, I laid the crochet bag on top and then just cut out around it. I probably should have made it smaller, but whatever. Hindsight and stuff. Once it was cut out, I finished the edges with the zigzag stitch, and then it was time to pin the zipper in. I wanted the tape of the zipper to be sandwiched between the lining and the outside of the purse. So I put the right sides of the fabric together and pinned the zipper teeth up to that folded over part that I left at the top. To install a zipper, you're going to want a zipper foot. It looks like this. It's designed to keep the zipper teeth from going under the needle. It also has two bars that let you change its position depending on which side of the zipper you're sewing. If you bought your sewing machine new, it should have come with this. If you bought it used, there's a chance you'll have to find one. You used to be able to get them at Joann's. You can't get anything at Joann's anymore. I'm sorry, what was I saying? With the zipper open, sew down the first side, making sure to backstitch at the beginning and the end. It's okay to take this part slow. I have this sped up, but this is how slow I was going. Then simply move the foot and sew down the other side. You should be able to easily zip it and unzip it when you're done. Now you may have noticed my zipper is a little too long for this purse, and this can easily be fixed. Setting my machine to the zigzag stitch, I put the stitch length at 0 and the width at either 5 or 6, and just did a few stitches in one spot, right where I wanted the zipper to end. As you can see here, that basically makes a new stopper, and then I can just cut the rest of the zipper away. Now, at this point, if you want, you can just sew up the sides and attach it to the purse, but I wanted an inside pocket. So I took the fabric that was the lining and cut it into a little rectangle. I doubled it up because it was so thin. I sewed the two rectangles together, leaving space to turn them. Then I turned them, ironed the pocket down, sewed it down, making sure to again backstitch both sides of the top and the corners just for a little extra strength. And then I sewed the edge of the lining together after that. Then for the strap, I took the 2 straps from the original tote, sewed them together, trimmed them to my liking, and attached them to some D-rings. To finally attach the lining to the shell, I opted for hand sewing. I did a sort of Henson stitch to make it look as seamless as possible. This is also known as the ladder stitch, where you catch each side of the fabric as you go back and forth and then pull it together. I sewed in a couple lobster claws as I went so I could attach the straps, and that was it for this bag. The fish bag was much easier. I did a similar thing of using the bag as a template to cut out the fabric. After finishing the edges, I sewed it into what was basically a big tube. I then took a long piece of embroidery floss and gathered the bottom. This is accomplished by doing a running stitch and pulling it tight. I did this all the way around and then secured it with a few stitches back and forth through the whole thing. Then I took it over to my tailor's ham and ironed down a folded edge. This will be what I sew onto the outer shell of the purse. I used my binding clips to hold everything in place and proceeded to hand sew it together, same as the last bag. And then I was done. If that bit was for real, it was, and I definitely should not have put that much stuff in here. So, wrap up. That was an easy one-day thing, and honestly, wow, I really held off. Especially that one, the fish bag. I made that like a year or two ago, and I only just now finished it. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful and that you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, if you want to see more, consider subscribing and maybe liking and sharing it about, leaving a comment, that sort of thing. Either way, I will see you guys in the next one, which will be a more full-fledged crafting video that hopefully by the time that this is edited and uploaded, I've already started on. So, hopefully. Whether that's the case or not, I will be posting previews of that over on my Ko-Fi, which you can check out, and if you want to donate too, you can. No pressure. Nothing is behind a paywall, as always. But yeah, that's it. You guys have a good one. I'll see you next month. Bye!